I think that, of course, Ericsson is very well known for our wireless capabilities, and we are the world leader in the world when it comes to mobile networks. We have been very early out with our next generation mobile networks. I would say that today we are on the 3G or HSPA already now have 42 megabits per second in our mobile broadband networks deployed in the world. Next year, early next year, we'll have 84 megabits. We have also the first commercial LTE network in the world operating. It's only one in the world on LTE 4G, and that's Telia in Sweden. It's 100% deployed by Ericsson. So I think that our commitment on mobile broadband and wireless is very clear. We have since the initial stages of wireless been the leader, and we have all the targets to continue to be the leader. So I think that we are working with all operators around the world, and we can see that clearly the data traffic in the mobile network is going up dramatically. It's driven for a couple of reasons. Of course, all the smartphones coming out in the market. Suddenly, any person that is connecting to the networks can actually browse or do things on the network. Secondly, of course, a lot of new type of devices like embedded chipset inside laptops that can connect to the mobile networks. All of that is, of course, generating a lot of traffic. And interesting is that if you look at the whole Earth, 85% of the Earth population could have a mobile phone today. 85. That is how broad the reach is of mobility. When it comes to mobile broadband, of that 85%, we might have 15% that has possibility today to have mobile broadband. So still it's quite a lot to do. As you all know, in May this year we passed 5 billion mobile subscriptions, and that is something that is unheard of that development we have seen in the mobile industry. We still believe that in 2015 it's going to be somewhere between 7, maybe even up to 8 billion mobile subscriptions in the world. Now we talk subscriptions because subscribers tend to have more than one subscriptions. But what is more important is we will go from some 600-700 million people today have broadband, fixed or mobile today. In 2015, our forecast is that we're going to have 3.5 billion people having broadband. The majority of that population will have it on mobility, just for the pure deployment, etc. on mobility. That will, of course, spark a lot of great opportunities, because suddenly we have worldwide coverage on broadband through mobility and of course on voice. And when we have that possibility, of course, there will be new things happening. We usually say in Ericsson that there has been, well, not only in Ericsson, there are other people saying this, there has been 5 industrial revolutions the last 200 years, everything from coal to energy, gasoline, etc. The 5th industrial revolution is ICT. That started 30 years ago when we started to deploy our mobile networks and internet. That first phase of the industrial revolution is sort of coming to an end, where all this is sort of installed. The next phase is when people want to use it, and corporations and societies. We call it the deployment phase. That phase is what we're going to see right now when social networks, all of other industries will start using the technology for getting more efficiency for the societies. And that's what the phase we're walking into as we speak right now. I would say that Ericsson has a vision in that sort of deployment phase, and that is we believe by 2020 it's going to be 50 billion connected devices. And all of that hangs together with the industrial revolution that ICT is doing, coming from the installation phase to a deployment phase, and how we want to use these networks all around the world and all that broadband. So I guess in that whole context of the importance of ICT, I think Ericsson will play a major role as the leader on wireless and on the most advanced mobile broadband networks. but we have also, of course, a lot of other assets in the company. Of course, our service piece, our IP networks, and multimedia, and then, of course, Sony Ericsson and ST Ericsson. So quite a broad range of things that we can do in this industry. That in this Philippine market, being extremely advanced. I mean, as you say yourself, I mean, all the texting which you were very early out on, but not only that, also the usage of social networks. And I think it's a little bit symptomatic of markets like this, where you actually have jumped a lot of the different technologies, where you actually start doing innovation from the start on wireless. And I think that is encouraging to see, and I can definitely think of a market like this being very innovating how wireless will be used in other industries in the future as well, because the adoption is so high of using the phone for something more than only talk. Of course, you talk a lot on the phone as well, but seeing that the power of the wireless technology for getting efficiency to societies, getting efficiency for you and me in our daily life. You can just imagine if we didn't have a phone today, I'm not sure how we will survive. Texting 50 SMS a day as you do here in the Philippines, I don't know how you would communicate and how stay close connect with your friends. I think so. That innovation will continue here because you have a culture of it, and I think that's very encouraging to see. So that's also one reason why it's very important for Ericsson to be here and having the executive team to see what are the trends that you see for usage of the wireless networks.